get them all here. You got a good hat. Let me see what's shaking out here.
Yeah. How you doing? You doing okay? Growing up so fast. November 13th. That's close around you, right? I remember that. Yep. 3 months old. Yeah. Exactly. Okay, now we just gotta wait on. Hey Jeff. Hey Jeff. Jeff. I'm gonna have you lead us in the pledge. Okay, we're gonna get started. Whoever's not here just ain't here. Got it? Are you ready?
I'm ready. They didn't give me the church.
We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Roll call. Freeman. Fusco. Hoke. Kamer. Keith. Kilby. Milkovich. Neal. Amobian. Sample. Sims. Somerville. Swirsky.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, will you please stand as we are led in prayer by Dr. Booker Person, who is a senior pastor of Greater Bethel Baptist Church. Immediately following our prayer will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Councilman Fusco.
May we bow our heads in a word of prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before your throne of mercy and grace at this very junction in the history of our country to say that we thank you for your beneficence. You are a good God, and as we gather here tonight for another city council meeting, we seek your wisdom and your guidance on behalf of our government. We pray tonight for the city of Akron, because only you can grant us a spirit of unanimity. Only you can grant us a spirit of unity in the midst of diversity. As this council addresses the agenda tonight, let it be another step toward renewal, revival, and revitalization of our city. We pray for our honorable mayor, as well as all of our city council members. In this year of 2019, God, give us clear vision and understanding to the leadership that is here. Give us the passion to make a difference as clergy and those who represent and serve the public trust. And in this month of African American history, oh God, as we recognize people who have made significant contributions to our society. Help us to continue to move toward equity and justice for all races, creeds, and colors. This is our prayer. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Clerk will read the minutes from our previously held meeting.
Minutes from the February 4th, 2018 meeting. Council convened in regular session at 7 p.m. with President Somerville in the chair. All members were present. Minutes of the previous regular meeting were approved. Reading of petitions and communications, passage of the consent agenda, report of standing and special committees, passage and referral of new ordinances and resolutions, representation from various departments and divisions, public speaking period, no further business on a motion by Fusco. Council adjourned at 7:42 p.m. to reconvene in regular session on Friday, February 11th, 2019, or special call.
Any corrections or additions? Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Letters, petitions, and communications.
There's only one. Notice from Summit County Court of Common Pleas, reference CV 2019-02-0442 regarding PC 21868 CU.
File. You have before you the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
We'll move into our old business rules in the absence of Councilman Keith, Councilman Amobian. Okay. Time will be granted. On tonight, we do have 3 public hearings. So I'm going to ask if there's anyone here in the audience that is wishing to speak on any of our 3 public hearings tonight. If you will please stand so that you may be sworn in by our law department.
If you plan to speak at any of the public hearings tonight, please stand, raise your right hand, and answer in the affirmative. Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth? Thank you.
Okay. Public hearing number 1, legal notice. Notice hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, February 11th, 2019, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m., Council Chambers, 166 South High Street, upon a resolution approving a renewal application of Kent Shively to have property at 495 Hickory Street placed in an agricultural district.
Mr. Antonucci.
Madam President, members of council, Kent Shively is requesting renewal for an additional period of 5 years for agricultural district designation for his property at 495 Hickory Street. Kent Shively has 5.67 acres of land for agricultural use, and agricultural designation would provide financial benefits in the form of property tax relief.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in the audience to speak in favor of this ordinance? So if you will approach the podium and please give us your name and your address.
My name's Kent J. Shively, 495 Hickory Street. And when I did my application, the paperwork wasn't complete at the time. It is now. However, I still don't meet the criteria because in 3 to 5 years you have to make a profit. The first year I did, the second year I was flooded. The third year I tried pumpkins with no pollination, and the last 2 years my road is closed so no one can even come to where I'm at.
Thank you. Councilman Fusco, what's your pleasure?
I'd like to pull the committee.
Actually, I'm sorry.
I was
I
gonna say-
kind of jumped the gun a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that
Yes.
there's no one in the audience that wants to speak against this ordinance before we move on. Just want to make sure there's no one else in the audience to speak against. Okay. Seeing and hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Thank you.
Thank you, President Somerville. I'd like to pull the committee to refer this item. Amobian? Kamer? Neal? Swirsky?
Okay, this item will be referred.
Okay. Public hearing number 2. Notice hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, February 11th, 2019, during the regular council meeting at 7 p.m., City Council Chambers, 166 South High Street, upon a resolution approving, I'm sorry, got the wrong one. Sorry. On an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a new office building and additional signage at 544 White Pond Drive.
Mr.
Thank
Antonucci?
you, Madam President, members of council. Gino Fasciana is requesting to demolish the existing office building at 544 White Pond and replace it with a new, larger, 3-story office building in the same location. The proposed office building would be situated in exactly the same spot as the existing office buildings, although on a larger footprint. The 3-story structure would provide 42,756 square feet of office space and will have a facade of brick, aluminum composite panels, and glass. Parking for 71 vehicles will surround the structure upon completion. The demolition and construction of a new building is part of the modernization effort by the property owner to enhance the viability of this office complex. The White Pond Drive interchange of I-77 has become one of the premier office park locations in the city, and the property owner continually reinvests in the property to ensure that it stays modern and relevant among other office complexes in the region. And both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval, subject to conditions.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in the audience to speak in favor of this ordinance?
Yes, good evening. My name is Kevin O'Malley, and I'm with MPG Architects. I'm just speaking in favor of it. As you said, this is an office building replacing an existing one. Currently, it's a speculative building, so as time goes on, they will be demolishing the building next door to increase the parking. So we shouldn't have any issues on this site as far as parking. It's just going to provide more opportunities for businesses to move in. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak in favor of this ordinance? Is there anyone here in the audience to speak against? Anyone in the audience to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close the public hearing. Councilman Fusco?
Thank you, President Somerville. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Amobian? Kamer? Neal? Swirsky?
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. This is, the petitioner has agreed to the 16 conditions that have been, that is within this conditional use request. And also, this is basically the same kind of use, just a different building, as was reported by the planning department. The department, the ward council person, and the committee are all recommending approval on this item, and I wish the developer good luck. This is an area with an extremely low vacancy rate, as evidenced by a fairly new building that's being raised, tore down, with a newer building. So this is a pretty hot area here in Akron. So we wish them luck. Thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Okay, public hearing number 3. Notice is hereby given that a public hearing will be held by the Council of the City of Akron on Monday, February 11th, 2019, during a regular council meeting at 7 p.m. in Akron City Council Chambers, 166 South High Street, upon an ordinance authorizing a conditional use to construct a Chipotle Mexican grill at the northeast corner of the intersection of George Washington Boulevard and East Waterloo Road.
Mr. Antonucci?
Thank you, Madam President, members of council. Property Acquisitions LLC is requesting permission to construct this Chipotle Mexican grill at this location. The 2 acres of land would be subdivided such that the western portion would accommodate a new Chipotle restaurant, and the eastern lot would be reserved for future development. Proposed development includes a 2,300 square foot building with a drive-through and pickup window on the west side of the structure, seating for 43 people inside, an outdoor patio, and parking for 48 vehicles would be featured. Exterior construction materials would include materials similar to the restaurant's chain's typical palette of concrete masonry, glass, and metal panels. Ingress and egress would be at the northwest corner of the site with an additional access drive in front of future development parcel to the southeast. The planning staff is of the opinion that the proposed restaurant development would not be out of character with the surrounding uses and should have a positive impact on the neighborhood. Other retail uses at this heavily traveled intersection also receive conditional use approval, including the Circle K and the Get-Go, which is across the street. Both Planning Commission and Planning staff recommend approval subject to conditions.
Thank you. Is there anyone here in the audience to speak in favor of this ordinance? I'm just going to ask if you please give us your name and your address.
Robert Abramovich, 1585 Frederick Boulevard, Akron, Ohio. I'm here on behalf of Property Acquisitions LLC and LRC Realty Developer. I just want to echo what Mr. Antonucci said and say that we're very excited about the project, and the plans are consistent with what we discussed and showed today at this afternoon's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else here in the audience to speak in favor? Is there anyone here in the audience to speak against? Anyone here in the audience to speak against? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close our public hearing. Councilman Fusco.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. I'd like to pull the committee for a favorable report with suspension of the rules. Amobian? Kamer? Neal? Swirsky?
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you, President Somerville. This too is an area that's catching on. I know Council Representative Hogan mentioned support of this in the community. However, I remind Council that just on the south side of Waterloo Road here, not too long ago, we approved a Get-Go, supersized Get-Go, if you will. And that wasn't but maybe 2 years ago. Now we're seeing this development come in with an adjacent parcel that's going to be offered for sale as well. So they've agreed to the various conditions of this conditional use request. Recommend approval this evening.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
Councilman Fusco?
Yes, thank you. There's a substitute offered as an amendment on item number 4. That's the capital investment budget.
I'll have the clerk read it in.
Offered by Fusco, a resolution adopting the 2019 Capital Investment and Community Development Program, legally referred to as the capital investment, and declaring an emergency.
Yes, thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we ask for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yes, thank you. This is, of course, our capital investment and community development program for 2019. I'd like to thank the planning department, Mr. Segedy, Helen Tomick, and her team for presenting to council and the committee. It's taken several hours to go through this capital budget. I remind everyone that each line item we will see again. And I'd also like to remind everyone, according to the charter, this has got to be passed by the 15th of this month. We also, within this substitute, we, as a result of our our ongoing meetings in reference to snow and ice, we have found, and I'd like to thank Helen Tomick for this as well, $250,000 for snow removal equipment. This equipment will assist in where we have about 13 one-ton trucks. But what this will do is help us with regards to acquiring spreaders as well as plows for these one-ton pickups that's going to be in every ward. We'll have enough to go to every ward and just take care of the residential streets while during an event while we'll typically be in a primary or secondary routes. But we'll be able to take care of complaints as they come in. So that's the goal of the Public Service Department. Also, in terms of transportation, in terms of the entire budget as a percentage, we've seen a 2% increase. That's primarily due to the Main Street Promenade project that's going on currently as we speak. That's $11 million. We've also seen an increase in economic development as a percentage of the total, which is about 3.5% increase. This is primarily due to two projects. One is the Firestone Business Park, which we've been receiving good news in reference to that economic development program project. And of course, as we're all familiar, the Romick Road project, which is about a $11 million investment. So with this, we recommend approval this evening.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
Councilman Fusco, what is your pleasure on the rest of the agenda?
For the committees to file items number 5 and 6.
Items number 5 and 6 will be filed.
For the committee, time, let's see here, 7, 8, 9.
Time will be granted on items 7, 8, and 9.
For the committee to file 10.
Item number 10 will be filed.
Time on whatever the number's next. 12.
Time on item number 12.
File item number 13.
Item number 13 will be filed.
Time on ballots.
Time will be granted.
Thank you.
Before we move into our new legislation, we do have some guests here with us in the audience, some members from our very own Akron Police Department. And so I'm going to actually have Chief Ball introduce them to us for us.
Good evening, Council. Thanks for having us here tonight. I know that everyone here and our guests may not know that we are in the process of preparing for our next police recruit test. So as a part of that, over the last 15 months, we have been having meetings at my level and with members of Human Resources and the Fire Department so that we could vet out the very best process available to us to get candidates to apply for our job, great candidates. Law enforcement applications all over the United States are down dramatically. For example, when I took the test, there were 2,550 people that signed up for that test to compete for 40 jobs. At our most recent test, we had just a little over 1,000 and less than 600 that took that test and passed. Every single person that took the Akron Police test, passed the physical test, was hired. We have exhausted that list, and now we're moving on to the next test. So we have been looking at our process to make sure that, that we do whatever is possible within our means to try to get a larger pool. Not compromising our standards in any way, but making sure that people in our community were aware of the noble profession and the opportunities that are available when the job is done well and the job is done right, and that's what we're committed to. So last week there was an announcement that as a part of that effort, that we will be reestablishing our in-house academy training for police officers. So instead of them being hired by the city of Akron and going on their own to a police academy that the city pays for, but not being compensated for 6 months, that now we're going to hire them as Akron police officers when they start in our academy. They will be fully compensated at the first step rate for officer pay, which will encourage those that are a little bit older, maybe a little bit more established, to be a part of our process so that there's not a financial impediment there. We also have upped our age from 35 to 40 for the age requirement, so any person in between the age of 21 and 40 can apply. We really thought that that process would allow people that maybe have chosen other professions, that have changed their mind, that they would have an opportunity to come in and compete. We believe that the maturity that comes with age is something that's beneficial in our work environment, and we wanted to make sure that those people understood that and felt welcome in our environment and were allowed to participate. Now, also, we had to examine our own recruiting. We've looked at it like a business, and we know that in the past we have not been as successful as we would hope to be in this process. So we have assigned these 5 background investigators. It will be their full-time work for the next several months to help us to evolve that plan and to get the word out in our community in a way that is much more productive and much more effective than we've been in the past. If we were a business, we would have been failing, and that's not good enough for our organization. It's not good enough for the city of Akron. So we brought in some young people, and we brought in somebody that's unique, and Officer Jeff Tyler, who's been on the department for over 30 years, who's deeply rooted in this community and has relationships that we think are going to be very important to our process. So we wanted to invite some youth and some enthusiasm, but we also wanted to take consideration to experience and enthusiasm. I met with a group last Tuesday after hearing from the lieutenant that supervises them, Al Fight, who is not able to be here tonight, and he told me what a great job that was being done in only 2 days of service, and I kind of laughed at that and said, how much good can they do in 2 days of service? When I met with them and saw what they had been doing, it was outstanding, and I came away inspired because of the attitude that was in that room that I know that's going to be infectious in our community, and to help to attract a wider, broader, qualified pool of candidates so that we continue to represent excellence in every way in our community from the Akron Police Department. So I thought it would be a good idea to have them in here tonight. I want council and our guests tonight to see that same kind of excellence and enthusiasm. So they're each going to introduce themselves and then talk for just a brief period of time about what we hope to accomplish with our effort.
How's everybody doing? My name is Officer Oko. I've been with the department since November 2014, so 4 years. It's been a great experience. A little bit about myself. I was born in Akron. I went to Copley High School and graduated from there. Something unique about myself, maybe. My family was very involved in the community. If you could think back to the festivals back at like Lane Field, Joy Park, those little kids that were running around getting on everybody's nerves, that was me. I was one of those kids. So from there, I went to the military. Before I got here, I did several tours overseas, came back home, was looking for a job, wanted to help out the community, be part of the community, and the Akron Police Department gave me that opportunity, and I'm going to take every advantage of it that I can to give back to the community and make sure that we can get some great officers.
Hi, everyone. I'm Officer Kaylee Sanders. I've been on the department for a little over 5 years now. I'm from Canton, Ohio. In just 5 years, just to preface, the department has a lot of movement right now, which is good to extend to our candidates. I am on the afternoon. I'm on the midday shift with only 5 years on, which it took a lot of officers a lot more time than that. I'm excited about the job and the opportunity. Where I come from is a lower income family. I do feel like I have a job and that I shouldn't necessarily have, and I'm ecstatic that I've gotten to this point for myself. I would like to keep that energy and my excitement for the job and extend it to candidates and let them know that they have the opportunity to change their life or be the difference. And we really want to find members of the community. We really want to find officers who will reflect the community today, and I think I have that opportunity just from my experience, and I think we want to grab other experiences so that we can have officers here in a couple years who can look back and say where they've come from and where they can be, and that they can relate to different members of the community in their own unique way.
Hi, I'm Officer Felicia Tenney. I grew up in Medina, Valley City. Okay, I've been an officer for almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years in September. And I'm a country girl. You know, I enjoy farms and four-wheelers and things like that. And before I became an officer, I was a grocery store clerk, a waitress. I worked on the Lorraine rape community, like it's the Rape Crisis Center. And I had a lot of fun there, and Akron Police gave me a great family, a great home. I was fortunate to be able to find them and have this wonderful career. For the recruitment team, we did come up with a slogan. It says, "Where did you come from?" And then it says, "Be the difference." So we want to know where people came from. Like, I was a grocery store clerk, and now I'm a police officer. How great is that, you know? So we have photos here that we wanted to represent what we've done in the past, and I can pass them around. I'll start here. So what these represent is what we did in the past, and now we're police officers. We want to show that anybody could acquire a great career like we did, as long as they have the drive. You know, they're good quality candidates that we can bring onto our department. This is something all of us came up with, and hopefully soon we'll see it throughout the community, and we'll be able to gather people, you know, from the community and great community leaders to bring to our team. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Officer Corey Sigfirth. I've been with the Akron Police Department for 2.5 years. Prior to coming to the police station, I was in the United States Coast Guard for 8 years, serving as a maritime law enforcement officer in the Caribbean. I'd like to first say that thank you for having us. We are all very excited, like Chief said, to be a part of this team and to be a part of something new with the city of Akron and the police department. I think that the way that we're actively going to be going out and talking to potential candidates is going to be one of the biggest things. They're going to get to know us, know our face, and know what our mission statements are. And I'm proud to be a part of a team who can find the best applicants and the best candidates to be riding in the car over midnight shift with me in the next couple months.
I'm Jeff Tyler. I'm sure a lot of you guys know us. They save the best for last. Just kidding. All these guys are all good because I trained them all. I've been on going on 33 years now, and it's a pleasure to be able to work with some of these guys and as being a staple in the Akron, Ohio area. I was born and raised. I went to Lincoln Elementary School, Thornton Junior High School, Central Howard. Me and Mark Neal ran we ran the streets of Akron together as kids. So we're very much invested in this community. So are these guys here. We got some great ideas. We're going to come up with some great ideas. We're not going to try, we're going to do. We're going to provide a lot of stuff. We're going to try to get more women. We're going to get more women in the police department. We're trying to reflect what the police department should reflect in our community. And we've been having great success in the past doing that, but we're going to go on and do, and we're going to do better, especially with the North Hill area and some of the other areas. So actually, just to have a little bit of patience with us, like I said, you're going to see some great things coming out of this office.
As I mentioned before, I hope that it stirs something in you to see some of the young talent that we have in the police department, to hear how articulate they are, and most importantly, how committed they are to great service for our citizens. And that's something that will constantly be communicated when they're out there. Our job is about how can we help you, and that's something that they will reinforce while they're out there. We will attract candidates that we have not attracted in the past, because there's a different mission for this police department, because we know that the job is evolving. We're aware of it. We invite that, and we're looking to be exceptional in every single area. And I'm excited about what they can bring, because I know they represent that as well. So thank you again for having us here tonight.
Thank you so much. And it's just my hope that my colleagues around the horseshoe, that we will do our part to assist them in recruiting officers and making sure that we get officers who are more representative of our community. And two, I just want to ask the chief if he will please look into this for us, because I know it's been brought to my attention that on last week, there were actually 4 officers who were hired to the Cleveland Police Department, 2 which were African American from Akron. So if we can just look into that and see why are we losing good qualified candidates to Cleveland, just as we move forward in this process, I would appreciate it.
I would be glad to have that. I don't know if that conversation adopted is appropriate right now.
No, if you could just kind of investigate it for us and let us know.
Like I know about those circumstances and we can discuss it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. We'll now move into our new business. Budget and Finance.
Okay, item number 1, offered by Freeman. Ordinance authorize the mayor to enter into, execute, and deliver guarantee agreement in connection with the issuance by the Development Finance Authority of Summit County of revenue bonds for the benefit of the Akron Community Service Center and the Urban League Incorporated, declaring an emergency.
Councilman Freeman?
Committee's report's favorable. We're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
We are kind of renegotiating a note that the city of Akron has signed on, I think clear back to 2006, to be guarantor. And with that, we ask for its passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 2, offered by Freeman. Ordinance approving and ratifying the Director of Information Technology entering into an agreement with Malwarebytes Incorporated for a 3-year service agreement and declaring emergency.
Councilman Freeman?
Committee's report is favorable on this item as well, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Given the recent cyber attack, the city's seeing that another layer of protection is needed, and so this would allow us to enter into a 3-year contract with Malwarebytes. With that, we ask for its passage.
Thank you. Councilman Kilby?
Thank you, Madam President. I just would like to know the source. I was looking at the Uniform City Council report, and it doesn't give a source for this $83,000, something like that?
I think Mr. Fricker will be able to answer that for you.
Yeah, the source will be the IT department fund, which actually receives its revenue by charging back the other departments. So, in a manner of speaking, all of the departments will proportionally fund this expenditure.
Okay. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 3, offered by Fusco, a resolution approving the renewal application. Pardon me. Oh, that was already taken. I'm sorry. That was already a public hearing. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Hold on. Here we go. Okay. Item number 7, substitute offered as an amendment. It's a resolution approving and confirming the appointments of Mayor Daniel Reagan, John Moore, Tom Tatum, Helen Tomic, Councilwoman Veronica Sims, and Councilman Bob Hoke and Rich Swirsky for the year 2019 as members of the Northeast Ohio 4-County Regional Planning and Development Organization, with alternates Sam DeSazier for the mayor, Jim Ashley for Mr. Tatum, Michelle DeFiore for John Moore, and Abraham Westcott for Helen Tomic, and declare an emergency.
Councilman Fusco?
Thank you. The report of the committee is favorable, and we ask for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Yeah, thank you, President Somerville. This is the 4-County planning organization, and these are the appointments for 2019. And we ask for passage.
The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 8, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after advertising for bids for the purchase and application of asphalted concrete pavement removal and riser rings for various streets in the 2019 resurfacing program and arterial collector street resurfacing, including alternates, approving specifications therefore, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. This piece and a few others after this will all in result of the 2009 resurfacing program, so we're asking for passage.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 9, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizes Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after advertising for bids for the purchase and application of asphalted concrete, pavement removal, and riser rings for various streets in the 2019 resurfacing program, residential resurfacing, including alternates, approving specifications therefore, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of rules again.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Any further comment?
No, just similar to the previous piece.
Very good. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. We'll just try that one more time.
Okay, wake up.
All in favor say aye. Very good. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Baylor, Keith, Milkovich, oops, take Keith out of there, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 10, offered by Kamer. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into a contract or contracts after advertising for bids for the purchase and application of asphalted concrete, pavement removal, riser rings for various streets in the 2019 resurfacing program, unimproved streets, resurfacing, including alternates, approving specifications therefore, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules. Apologize.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
And this more focuses on the unimproved streets.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Sample, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 11, offered by Kamer. Ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee to enter into an agreement or agreements with neighboring communities and or the County of Summit for participation and cost sharing in the 2019 resurfacing project, preventative maintenance program of construction, sealing, and crack filling, and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer?
Thank you. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of the rules, please.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
And this one is in regards to working with our neighbor communities and Summit County in regards to sharing costs. So.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage, Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 12, offered by Kamer, ordinance authorizing the Director of Public Service or his designee after publicly advertising for bids to enter into a contract for the purchase of signal support poles on Waterloo Road and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer,
Thank you. Committee wants to place this item on consent agenda, please.
this item will be placed on the consent agenda.
Okay, last item, number 13, offered by Kamer. Ordinance authorizing the mayor or his designee to enter into an agreement or agreements for funding through the Ohio Office of Criminal Justice Services 2018 Justice Assistance Grant administered through the state of Ohio, authorizing the expenditure of local funds in support and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Kamer,
Thank you. Committee's report is favorable, and we're asking for suspension of rules on this one.
any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
Thank you. This funding will allow for improved quality management systems within our Akron Police Department. Thanks.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage, Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amovian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
We will now go to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. If you wish to speak to council during this time, you may approach the podium. We're going to ask that you please sign in, state your full name, spell your last name, and give us your address. You will have 3 minutes to speak to this body. Speakers are reminded that this is an official meeting. Remarks should be kept respectful and germane to council business. Anyone who refrains from making any personal, speakers should refrain from making any personal attacks. Anyone who breaches decorum may be ruled out of order and may be removed from council chambers. Is there anyone here that would like to speak during our public comment period on tonight?
Good evening. My name is Betty Brazil, address 161 West Hill Street. I came down tonight to say that I'm still concerned about West Hill Street, the concern of our home. We did meet with a gentleman by the name of Thomas. I can't remember his last name. I think we met with this young lady here. We were supposed to have received a letter. We spoke to him last part of last year, around September, October. He said that we were supposed to receive a letter in January stating what they was going to do with their home, the foundation cracking and the walls cracking and the damage to our homes. We have not received anything from him. We have not received a letter. So this is why I'm here tonight, hopefully to talk to someone about what they're planning on doing about the foundation of our homes. And that's why I'm here, hoping to speak to someone about that.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Brazil. After the meeting, I'll talk with you, okay?
Okay.
Good evening, Madam President and Akron City Council. My name is Carice Cantlin. Last name is spelled C-A-N-T-L-O-N, and I currently live at 410 Locust Street. I'm here to express appreciation for the city of Akron and our neighboring cities. I found inspiration from a partial quote from George Washington. Personal and professional honesty are worth exploring. I kind of reworded it a little bit. But first, I'd like to congratulate City Council for opening your doors to encourage dialogue. And a cheers to the insightful safety team comprised of they're not here. The Akron Fire Department, the Akron Police Department, and who seamlessly secure the city as a masterful unit. Second, the transformative healthcare shared amongst the hospitals, decorating the downtown streets. And I do say decorating because when I pass Children's Hospital in particular, especially at night, it's quite a sight to see. So, and giving us much hope. Third, the employees of the agencies I collaborate with who make it more pleasurable and smooth, accomplishing daily work, errands, and appointments necessary to successfully operate as a citizen and small business. Finally, dear friends and family who are essential to peeling the layers, reaching a greater understanding to uncover strength and confidence, which continues to prove necessary for growth. Support like this is paramount in whatever form it exists. Once again, I just have a great appreciation and thank you for everything that you guys do. I look forward to being part of your solution-oriented team.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Good evening. My name is Greg Dunham, D-U-N-H-A-M, and I live at 2541 Ridgewood Road in West Akron. First, I'd like to compliment our councilperson, Marilyn Keith, for the fine work she does for us. She always has an answer to our problems, and if she doesn't have an answer, she'll find it for us. I would also like to commend James Hardy of the administration. In the Fairlawn Heights, we had a speeding problem a while back, and Mr. Hardy took it upon himself to find the time to meet with us and come up with some resolutions. A small story that I'd like to share with you. 10 or 15 years ago, I asked our prior councilperson, Mr. Keith, about our speeding problems, and every time I saw him, I complained about him, so I think he got tired of my complaining and had the police force set up a speed trap in my driveway. I shouldn't say a speed trap. He had some policemen come out and look at the speeding problem. 2 motorcycle policemen were out there. In 1 hour, they stopped 10 people. And this was at 10 a.m. on a weekday. So there is a problem at that time on Ridgewood, and there still is a problem. So I'm looking forward to those new radar guns that the police will have. I'm really here tonight to talk about the potholes on Shagalag Road. The 200 to 300 block of Shagalag is pretty atrocious. I've been complaining about them for about 5 years. That project keeps working up the agenda, and hopefully it gets to the top of the agenda soon. It's so bad that I avoid that stretch of roadway. I have to go drive 5 minutes out of my way to get home, and that's not good for residents to have to avoid certain roadways. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dunham. Is there anyone else wishing to speak during our public comment period? Seeing and hearing none, we'll close our public comment period and move into our committee assignments. Rules, Councilman Amobian. Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman. Planning, Councilman Fusco.
Moving it to 1 o'clock.
Public Service, Councilman Kamer. Public Utilities, Councilman Samples. Public Safety, Councilman Kamer. Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal. Yes. Housing, Councilman Kilby. Health and Social Services, Councilman Amobian. Economic Development, Councilman Sims. Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky.
12:30.
Okay. Is there anything else coming before council? There's a motion to adjourn. Seeing no objections, we're adjourned. Keep in mind, we will be out of session and back on the 25th.
This concludes the live broadcast of Akron City Council. Margot Somerville, President of Council, presiding.